Good afternoon. Welcome to the December 15th, 2021 formal meeting of the Phoenix City Council. I will call the meeting to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilwoman Ansari.
Here.
Councilman DeCiccio.
Here.
Councilwoman Guardado.
Here.
Councilwoman O'Brien.
Here.
Councilwoman Pastor.
Here.
Councilwoman Stark.
Here.
Councilman Waring.
Here.
Vice Mayor Garcia.
Here.
Mayor Gallego.
Here. Our country has experienced enormous shocks since we last met. Today, we will have a moment of silence to recognize the tornado losses in our country in the Midwest and South, the now 800,000 Americans' lives lost to COVID, the loss of many partners, including Goodyear Mayor Georgia Lord. But nothing hits closer to home than a young man new to the Phoenix Police Force who is clearly committed to a life of service. I ask that you hold a kind thought for Officer Tyler Moldovan, his family, and the medical professionals who are caring for him. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you so much. Mario Barajas is with us here today to provide interpretation service. Mario, would you please introduce yourself?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Hello, my name is Mario Barajas, and I'll be serving as today's Spanish interpreter for the City Council formal meeting. I'll now take a moment to introduce myself to our Spanish-speaking audience and review some brief instructions, housekeeping rules. Hola, buenas tardes. Bienvenidos a la reunión formal del Ayuntamiento Municipal. Mi nombre es Mario Barajas y estaré sirviéndoles hoy como intérprete a los de habla hispana. Deseo pedirles de antemano, si es que van a estar dando un comentario público, por favor, hable despacio, con claridad y evite tener distracciones de fondo. Finalmente, pause después de cada una o dos oraciones. Siguiendo estas pautas, nos va a ayudar a poder interpretarle lo que esté diciendo de la manera más completa posible. Muchas gracias. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mario. Will our city clerk please read the 24-hour paragraph?
The titles of the following ordinance and resolution numbers on the agenda were available to the public at least 24 hours prior to this council meeting and therefore may be read by title or agenda item only. Ordinances number G6930 through 6931, S48119, 48134, 48135, 48170, and 48171 through 48216, and Resolution 21981.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion on item 1?
Motion to approve mayor and city council boards and commission nominations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
Do we have a motion on liquor license applications?
Motion to approve items 2 through 26.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, please say nay. Passes unanimously. City Clerk, are we ready for ordinances, resolutions, new business, planning, and zoning?
Yes, Mayor.
Vice Mayor, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve items 27 through 91, except the following. Items 32, 33, 34, 37, 60, and 67. Item 68 is continued to January 26, 2022. Item 91 is continued to January 5th, 2022. And excluding these items for public comment, 31, 34, 61, and 87.
Second.
Thank you. Any corrections? Roll call.
Ansari.
Yes.
DeCiccio,
Yes.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Pastor,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 9-0.
The next portion of our meeting includes comments from member of the public, and I will turn to our city attorney to explain public comment.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. Members of the public may speak for up to 2 minutes to comment on agenda items. Comments must be related to the agenda item and the action being considered by the council. General comments that go beyond the scope of the agenda item must be made during citizen comment session at the end of the agenda. Speakers must present their comments in a respectful and courteous manner. Profane language and personal attacks on members of the public, council members, or staff are not allowed. A person who violates these rules can lose their opportunity to continue to speak.
Thank you so much. We begin with agenda item 31, authorize premium pay under ARPA to eligible city employees.
Motion to approve item 31.
Second.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second. We do have some members of the public to address the council. We'll begin with Steve Berline, followed by Tony Duzinski.
Mayor and Council, my name is Steve Berline. I'm the president of the United Phoenix Firefighters Association, Local 493, also a captain with the Phoenix Fire Department. The firefighters' position has always been, continues to align with the International Association of Firefighters as far as vaccinations. We absolutely encourage our members, in fact, everyone, to receive the vaccine. And for those who aren't sure, we ask them to seek medical advice and make an informed decision. And then we recognize all approved exemptions also. But we adamantly oppose any vaccine mandate for our members who are refusing to receive a vaccine and who do not qualify for an exemption. With that being said, this item is this expansion of the incentive program that the City of Phoenix already has is an excellent approach to increase our numbers and get us to where we need to be. So I ask Mayor and Council to please approve this item. And thank you for your time.
Tony is next, followed by Marissa Leyva.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and Council, for letting me speak today. My name is Tony Duzinski. I am with the Phoenix Fire Department, a captain paramedic for over 25 years. You know, last week we talked about vaccine mandates and how wrong they are in a form of discrimination. And so here we are now talking about preferential pay. So are you guys going to let the federal government tell you how to run our own city? Well, if you're going to give out this premium pay for employees, it should be given equally to every city employee, regardless of whether they're vaccinated or not vaccinated. Like an old country song said, you've got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. So don't fall for this trickery. It's the oldest trick in the book. Bribery, greed, and easy buck. All you guys and girls that are on the city council, you are better than that. Because what will happen next? Segregation? So please stop this discrimination, stop this attempt to divide our city employees and nip it in the bud and say no to this discrimination. And let us say to every city employee that we value everyone, that every worker matters, whether you're vaxxed or unvaxxed. You matter because everyone is an essential worker. So let's show that to everyone and let's treat everyone with respect, consideration, and acceptance, no matter what their vaccination status is. Thank you.
Marissa is next, followed by Brett.
Hi, I just can't believe that we're even considering this when every top 5 city except for Phoenix already has a vaccine mandate in place. Is this going to be in addition to the $7,500 hiring bonus for cops and the $750 bonus they get if they get vaccinated within the department? Because I feel like I keep having to call in to ask you guys to stop giving money to cops. And it's getting really exhausting. To bribe people with $2,000 to do the right thing for safety when we're in the middle of a massive surge is ridiculous and a massive misuse of COVID relief money. It's completely ridiculous, and I can't believe that it's even on the agenda. Thanks.
Brett is next, followed by Patrick.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. When I heard about this $500 bonus, I thought it was a very nice gesture for those of us that stuck with the city and provided the services they're required during the unknown and rapidly growing pandemic. If you were deemed essential, then there were no teleworking options available. You had to be in the office to keep getting a check, and we were. No questions asked. We were strong, diligent, and wrote out the ever-changing guidance that was coming down from the feds daily. We were all a team working together to keep the water flowing, the trash moving, the city areas maintained, and the major buildings operational. We were essential to you when you needed us. It took all of us to make it happen, not just a handful. The additional $1,500 you are proposing is absolutely in violation of your own drafted and approved AR 2.35. You are not only discriminating against those that choose not to disclose their medical information to you, which I might add is none of your business in the first place, but you are absolutely retaliating against those people in the best way you can. If we were all essential then, we should all be essential now, without having to bend the knee to your ridiculous mandate, which quite frankly is on its way to the highest court in the land and will eventually be ruled unconstitutional. The fact that you're dangling an additional $1,500 in the face of those that choose not to be vaccinated or chose not to share our cards with you is probably the lowest thing I have ever seen from an employer. You're on a very slippery slope with us right now. Being vaccinated has nothing to do with and shouldn't be lumped into who was essential then. Either give everyone the additional $1,500 or give everyone the flat $500 regardless of their status. Mr. City Manager, is this what you want to be remembered for after climbing the ladder to the very top of the honored position you now hold? Do you want to be remembered as the city manager who sat quietly and watched as the mayor and council vote on something that you know deep in your soul is just not right? Be the leader. Let the employees see that you see each of us equal in your eyes. Mayor Gallego and council, you should be proud that under your leadership, more city employees have joined their respective unions for representation, seeing how you do not care about them equally. I ask those of you who vote yes on this today, make a public statement prior so your voice is on record. Thank you.
Our final speaker will be Patrick.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
My only concern is in the item number 34 for the emergency and rental assistance program that our organization have been assisting many of the City of Phoenix community members. But unfortunately, this item 34, if it passes today, with only the 5 organization that was selected, chosen by the city employees, as the to continue with the ERA 2.0, it will discriminate other and leave many family behind. And we have been helping those family to stay homeless until now, to keep to be able to keep the lights on because of the your work, your contribution and support. So
sir, this is a vaccination item. Is it possible you meant I think we may have
item number 34,
yes.
This is for the emergency and rental assistance. This is the one I'm speaking for. Maybe my name was called in earlier.
Okay, we had item 31 now, so we may have had an error here. But we will, council members, if you could note the comment for item 34.
Okay, am I going to be allowed to speak out? When item number 34 is calling?
Yes, we'll bring you back for item 34.
Thank you.
Thank you. For our staff, do we get everyone who is registered for comment on 31?
Yes, Mayor.
Wonderful, thank you. Council member comments or questions?
Mayor, I got a question.
Wonderful. We'll go to Vice Mayor and then Councilman DeCiccio.
Thank you, Mayor. And very proud to support this item to show our employees that we appreciate their hard work and their willingness to do their part to keep everyone in the community safe. Please, if you're able to, get vaccinated. I want to thank all of y'all who've already been vaccinated and proud to be able to support. And I'm sure after the holidays, employees will appreciate these extra funds for making sure that not only our employees are healthy, but the community we serve as well. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to Councilman DeCiccio, then Councilwoman Ansari, and then Councilwoman Guardado.
Just a quick question to staff. Does the federal government require the individuals to be vaccinated, or is this something that's done through the discretion of the council?
Mayor, Councilman DeCiccio, members of the council, the federal government, through the ARPA legislation, does not require employees to be vaccinated to receive premium pay. That is an optional addition for the council to make.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm going to be voting against this. Not that I don't believe that individuals deserve this money, because I think they do, and I believe that people should be treated fairly. But what really bothers me more than anything is that while certain leaders were cowering in their homes, hiding from the COVID, brave men and women, primarily from police and fire, were out there protecting us. They risked their lives, they risked their family lives, they risked the lives of the people around them to protect us. This was meant to give those individuals that little thank you that they deserve. And now it's become politicized into a vaccine type of mandate. So I've also asked city staff, I sent a letter to Jeff Barton earlier today, because this swirl of whether or not the city of Phoenix can still mandate the vaccine is still out there. I've asked for an executive session to help resolve this thing once and for all, hit it on head on as soon as possible. And so at the next executive session, we're going to see if the city of Phoenix can oppose this on their own. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilwoman Ansari.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm also very proud to support this item. I'm very happy to see that all of our hardworking essential workers, whether full-time or part-time, will be receiving premium pay through these ARPA funds. And on top of that, I think it was very clear when we heard last week from heads of hospital systems, from Banner to Valley-wise, that there's no question that our hospital systems are very strained at this time. And Banner has said that we expect another peak mid-January. So I hope that this, $1,500 incentive will go a long way to encourage all of our city employees, especially those that are interacting with the public every day, to get vaccinated. But thank you again to all of our employees. I know, we could not have gotten through this pandemic without you, and we're still very much in the pandemic. So important that everybody does everything they can to protect the public. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Guardado.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, also want to say thank you to all of our employees. I remember in the hype of the pandemic, when the city had to shut down, when we had people had to work hybrid, and we had no idea last March where this pandemic was going to lead us, what was going to happen. I just want to thank all of our city employees for their flexibility, for their hard work, for everything that they had to do to accommodate with their families. I know that it's not been easy. It's been incredibly difficult. My heart goes out for all of those families that have lost family members because of COVID. I know that we've had quite a few of those in our own city. So I am definitely very supportive of this. I know this is money that it's going to come very handy to a lot of people that are out there that continue to keep us safe, that continue to keep our city clean, and that continue to make sure that our city continues to move forward. We're still in the middle of this, and it's not close to being over. So I am very proud and happy to be able to support this item and that we can get some money to folks as the holidays are around the corner. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any additional council comments? I will be supporting this item as well. I think it's important to note that the city did a 9% compensation package increase for our employees and that we've tried to regularly show appreciation for people who worked through the pandemic and who continue to do so. Right now, our hospitals are telling us they are at a very difficult time. Elective surgeries are being canceled. We heard powerful testimony last week from hospital executives. We learned that there are hospitals that have more COVID beds filled right now than they did at this time last year when a vaccine was not available. We also heard that overwhelmingly the people who are hospitalized, who have serious injuries or death, are unvaccinated. We want to do everything we can to support our healthcare workers and to make sure that people in our community can get the care that they deserve. Vaccinations are safe. They are a good way to protect yourself, and I would encourage everyone to do so. Last week, healthcare leaders shared that natural immunity does not protect you to the same degree as vaccination, and we want our city employees to be as safe as possible. That's part of the reason certain city employees, particularly those who work on medical issues, do have to get vaccinations as condition of their service. It's worth pointing out, again, that premium pay does not go to the city's elected officials, executive staff, or managers. Again, want to thank everyone in our healthcare system and encourage our residents to get vaccinated and to get a booster as well. Thank you so much. Additional comments? Do we have any additional comments? Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
No.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien,
No.
Pastor.
I would like to explain my vote.
Please do.
I like to say that several colleagues on the council were, when COVID first started, were out in the field helping our employees get vaccinated and hosted vaccination clinics for our public safety, our fire, and anyone else that wanted to get vaccinated and tested. So I take great pride, along with other colleagues, of being in the forefront of not hiding, but really protecting our employees. So I am voting yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
No.
Garcia,
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 6-3.
We next move to item 32, a request to authorize a partnership with the Partnership for Economic Innovation.
Motion to approve item 32.
Second.
And noting that Councilwoman Pastor will not be participating in this vote. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
Yes.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Garcia,
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 8-0.
We next move to item 33, request for additional contract authority for funding from HUD to be distributed in accordance with ARPA and CARES Act.
Motion to approve item 33.
Second.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
Yes.
Guardado, Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
No.
Garcia,
Yes.
Gallego. Passes 8-1.
Item 34 is authorization to enter into agreements with CPLC, Foundation for Senior Living, Pilgrim Rest Foundation, St. Vincent de Paul to disperse emergency rent and utility assistance funding. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve item 34.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I did tell Patrick that we would return to his comment in this item. So we will go back to Patrick for his comment on this item.
Thank you, Mayor Gallego, and thank you, City Councilmen and women. My name is Patrick Masoya. I am the president for the Refugee and Immigrant Community for Empowerment, known as RICE. I am, coming to you today to request that the City Council do not approve this agenda in line number 34. As the selection process, because our agency was part of this program, but due to some unexplained reason, we were not selected, even though having a big, huge impact in the community, keeping the family in their home and also assisting families during the COVID since last year until now. And these 5 agencies alone will not be able to sustain the demand that our community is facing and to meet all the demand. As a result, I am requesting that the City Council do not approve this item, but request an amendment and a second review during the selection process, because the metric the city employee used to determine to make the choice was not proportional. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any additional questions or comments? Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
Yes.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Pastor,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
No.
Garcia,
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 8-1.
Item 37 is authorization to enter into contracts to provide refugee, asylee, and immigrant services. Do we have a motion, Vice Mayor?
Motion to approve item 37.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
No.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Pastor,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
No.
Garcia,
Yes.
Gallego. Passes 7-2.
Next item is item 60. I have a potential conflict, so I'll turn to the Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Moving on to item 60. Councilman Guardado, do we have a motion?
Yes, motion to approve item 60.
Second.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any comments? Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
Yes.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Pastor,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
Passes 8-0.
Next, go to Item 61, Fire Hydrant Repair and Replacement Program, JOC. I will turn to Councilwoman Pastor.
Hi, I really appreciate those working on item 61, but I have a motion. Motion to approve item 61, stipulating the term of each master's agreement is for up to 1 year to substantial completion or up to 3.4 million, whichever occurs first.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We will go to the phones for public comment. We'll begin with Mario Ayala, followed by Chris Eidelberg.
Perfect. Thank you, Mayor. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Considering the recent changes, we support the revised structure of this contract. While I still strongly disagree with contracting out the work of the bargaining unit, I understand the complexity and the importance of this service to our community. I request that in the future, we utilize our internal staff to perform the work that they have been hired to do, and I would encourage the water department to look to the union as a reasonable partner who would love to be a part of the solution and not the problem. We would request that we continue to meet with the water department for updates for the fire hydrant, for status of the fire hydrant backlog, and explore opportunities for our internal staff to assist with the overall goal of the fire hydrants. Once again, we look forward to accomplishing the overall objective of bringing these fire hydrants back into operable conditions while allowing our internal staff an opportunity to resume the responsibilities once this contract has expired. Thank you for your time, and I ask that you please support the amendment.
Thank you. Chris is next, followed by James McKenna.
Good afternoon, Council, and thank you for hearing from me today on this very important agenda item. As a safety professional, I am also concerned that the city has fire hydrants that are not in good operable condition. I agree that this is a safety concern to our firefighters and the public we all serve. As Vice President of AFSCME Local 2384, I have a vested interest in seeing that our members are afforded the opportunity to do this work. I believe that work that is historically done by the bargaining unit stay in the bargaining unit. This being an emergency situation, I do understand the need to bring outside contractors to speed up the process of replacing non-working fire hydrants. I'm pleased to see that the proposal to the contract, to this contract work has been modified from its original dollar amount and length of time, and will allow our members to resume doing this work in the near future. To accomplish this and to assure that we don't run into this problem again, I would implore the city to use all its resources to fill the vacancies that contributed to getting us in this position in the first place. In showing my support, I urge council to vote yes and approve the contract as is currently written. Thank you.
Thank you. James will be our final speaker on this item.
Can you hear me? Chris, close your door.
So we can hear you. There was an echo, which you obviously figured out.
Good afternoon, everyone. We understand the importance of the fire hydrants and their need in emergency situations, and we can see the necessity for this contract to repair the almost 1,000 hydrants that are currently out of service. We also believe that the abundance of vacant positions in the Water Service Department has been a contributing factor to the accumulating number of hydrants that are out of service. In the future, we'd like to see the Water Services Department invest in its own infrastructure by hiring and filling the almost 125 vacant positions that it currently holds. We'd also like to see the department invest in retaining these employees as they hire and fill with qualified candidates. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember questions or comments? Councilwoman Guardado, followed by the Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. So I have some comments, and then I also have some questions. So I'll start with my comments. I just wanted to say that I'm very frustrated by how this item came to us. I remember my first few months on council, it was a little bit over 2 years ago. We were told about the need to repair and replace hundreds of our city fire hydrants. I joined other council members in asking that our water services department work quickly to ensure this could be done by the City of Phoenix employees, as opposed to outsourcing the work to a private contractor. This was important to ensure the quality of the work performed and that the men and women doing the work were part of our City of Phoenix workforce with, as you guys know, very important to many of us on the council, with good pay, union representation, affordable family health care, a pension, and respect on the job. And this did not happen. So I would like to ask some questions of those who are bringing the item to us today. So is Karen there?
Yes, I am, Councilwoman.
Thank you. 2 years ago, we were told by the Water Services Department that there was a training skills issue related to city employees working on this project. My question is, what efforts were taken by the department 2 years ago, we're talking 2 years ago, to upskill and training our current employees to get this project done?
Thank you, Councilwoman. We have Assistant Director Brandy Kelso with us this afternoon, and I would turn to her to address that question.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. We have been working diligently to train our employees on the repair and replacement of fire hydrants. One thing that we have done is we've been having manufacturers of the hydrants come in and do on-site training, tricks and tips on how to do it efficiently. And so we've been having those brown bags and bringing staff up to speed on training related to both repairs and replacement.
So how many people did you guys train? Because then if we had trained enough people, we wouldn't be outsourcing at this point. So how many people did you need then? How many people do you need now? And why didn't we train enough?
Mayor and members of the council, we have 3 areas in this division: leaks and breaks, valves, and then the hydrant program. The hydrant program has about 24 positions associated with it, and they do all the pieces, both the PMs, the repairs, and the replacement. So about 24, though there is some vacancies that run from year to year, depending on staffing levels at any given time.
If I could, Councilwoman, if I could just add, I think that over the last couple of years, one of the things that we have accomplished is a study to understand how much of this work we can continue to do in-house. And as a result of that work, we have significantly shifted the contract request so that existing staff will continue to handle all repairs. This contract is strictly to address a backlog of replacement. Once the backlog is cleared, we do have sufficient staff, sufficient well-trained staff to handle repairs and replacements as they happen.
No, I understand that. And I think, Karen, that's what you told me 2 years ago. And I think that at least I was very clear that I didn't want to see all of this work outsourced. And I think that we could have done a much better job in making sure that didn't happen. I guess that's where my frustration is still at, that we're still looking at outsourcing as an option, where we should not be looking at that as an option. And if this is a critical job, then I would have appreciated been given a heads up a year ago and saying, you know what, this item's going to come back to you. So that was my first question. Then my next question is, what efforts were taken to advertise, recruit, hire, and train new city employees to repair and replace those fire hydrants, or moving people up, right? How many people were we able to upscale, and how many people are moving on to better positions?
Mayor and member of the council, we've actually been working over the past year or so to streamline our utility tech hiring program. We've done a lot of things to have continually open recruitments, moving people through the process, and we've been working with Unit 2 leadership to further streamline that. I don't have the exact numbers of how many new hirees we've had in the past year in the utility tech program, but I'll get that for you and send it to you. We do have a significant amount of vacancies in that area. We lose 1 to 2 employees per pay period. Most of them are being promoted within the city, and very few are actually leaving the city.
So then are you saying then that you guys are having an issue then hiring folks for these positions?
That is correct. It is a very competitive market right now. And so, for example, 6 to 8 months ago, we were getting about 200 applicants through the utility tech advertisements for recruitment. And I think this last time we only had about 50 applicants.
Okay. And then my next question is, of our current city employees in the Water Services Department, how many of them have been working and repairing these fire hydrants?
Mayor and council members, as I mentioned earlier, I think there's about 24 people in the fire hydrant program.
And are there any folks that are in the middle of being trained for this?
Yes, we have, I think, 6 to 10 trainees in the program, and they go through all aspects of the division, both the leaks and breaks and valves and hydrants, so that they can do the full range of duties.
And when did the Water Services Department leadership know that the repairing and replacement of city hydrants had reached a critical stage?
Mayor, Councilwoman Guardado, we have been working to address this issue for several years, as you know. The approach that we're recommending now is the result of a lot of hard work to identify the fastest and most efficient way to do it. I think that we all recognize that the number of hydrants throughout the community that are not functional is a significant public safety concern, and we have known that and been working toward a solution now for at least 2 years that I'm aware.
And when was a decision made to shift from city employees repairing and replacing hydrants to the desire to outsource the work to a private contractor?
Mayor, Councilwoman Guardado, in fact, in prior years before we had spent down the contract authority, we were contracting out some of this work. It was only after the spending authority was exhausted that we turned to identifying another solution. So we have been contracting out some of this work for many years, but the approach we're recommending now is to contract out only the replacement of the backlog, and once that backlog is eliminated, we do not need to further contract out.
Okay, thank you for that. So I want to make sure that I'm very clear today. I do not take it lightly when I am asked to vote on an item when the city department's leadership did not do the work we asked them to do. The residents I represent in my district tell me time and time again about the need to create good jobs in our city. I do not appreciate being backed in a corner as to vote between good jobs or functioning infrastructure. And I understand the importance of keeping our city safe. I am going to be voting yes on this item, but I guess I did have another question for Jeff.
Yes, ma'am.
Jeff, would it be possible, given that these are critical jobs and given that this is about keeping our constituents safe and it's about the safety of the whole city and making sure that multiple departments are able to do their jobs when people's lives are on the line, is there a way that we can offer and then a hiring incentive for these folks, given that this is something that we really need to do just the same way that we're doing for other critical positions?
Mayor, members of the council, Councilwoman Guardado, that is an excellent question. And as you know, a few weeks ago, you did approve the incentive, the retention bonuses. And so that money could theoretically be used for this group since, again, you mentioned this is a critical function and we are having significant amount of turnover here. So this is something that could be evaluated between the department and HR, and it would avail itself to that potential. One thing I also want to emphasize to you based on your line of questioning and my discussion with the department, as well as both unions that are concerned with this issue, you have my commitment that this contract is 1 year. The backlog will be exhausted, and if it's not exhausted, then someone's going to have to answer to me as to why it's not exhausted, as well as going forward, based on what's been demonstrated to me, the staff that Water has allocated to this program is sufficient to maintain the existing work once it's caught up. So this work does belong to Unit 2 moving forward.
Well, thank you so much for that, Jeff. And yes, under your leadership, I believe that this is going to get done, and that is one of the big reasons why I will be voting yes on this. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Councilwoman Guardado, for those line of questioning. I was going to ask a lot of the same things. Want to thank Councilwoman Pastor and the units for getting together and figuring this out, and for the labor representatives to be here today and understanding and being gracious and knowing that public safety is important and that these hydrants functioning are important, even though it might cost some of their folks, literally cost them their jobs or their funds. I'll be supporting this item since, it's been brought to our attention, and as we discussed here, moving forward, this could be a safety issue for our employees and our residents. However, I want to be clear, similar to Councilman Guardado, that while maybe historically this council has decided to outsource and at times decimate, as we see here, public services and goods for the prevalence of privatizing them, I do not believe that that's what's best for our city. I fully believe that our city employees are capable of doing these jobs, and I look forward to the compensation studies, to what was spoken of earlier, to see how we can raise these employee wages and provide more competitive wages as an employer to fill these vacancies in the water department. Again, I think it's really important that we make sure that this doesn't happen again. To think that it got to this point and we are trying to be bailed out by trying to contract it out now. I'm glad that we're able to do that and making that decision now, but I really hope that we don't put ourselves in a similar position. I'm grateful for the comment and statement you just made, Jeff, and we'll be voting yes on this. Would hope we don't have to do this again. Thank you.
Mayor, just a quick question of staff.
Wonderful. We'll go to Councilman DeCiccio and then Councilwoman Pastor.
If they could just, can someone just reread the motion again?
Motion to approve item 61, stipulating the term of each master agreement is for up to 1 year to substantial completion or up to $3.4 million, whichever occurs first.
Thank you for that. That's all I have.
Thank you. We'll go to Councilwoman Pastor and then Councilwoman Ansari.
Thank you. You had mentioned a study. When did you receive that study, or when was that study done?
Mayor and members of the council, I recently completed this study. I'm new to this role as an assistant director. I was an assistant director at the water department in another role, and so I just completed that study about a month to 2 months ago.
Okay, so it's fairly new.
Right.
And the study and due to the study or because of the study, then there was rearranging, not necessarily positions, but on how, I don't even know how to say it, rearranging of duties, I guess, or how they were, went out in the pipeline, I guess. Is that correct or am I wrong?
The analysis was actually how many outstanding items did we have and how quickly we thought staff could get it done. And what we determined is for repairs, our existing staff is able to get that done within a year's time. However, due to the backlog of the replacement, it would take staff several years to do that, which the department, along with the fire department, felt was unreasonable time. And so that's when we decided to move forward with a contract to help us get it within that 1 year's time frame.
Okay, thank you. Because I appreciate you and your new role of doing the study in order to get us back in track. However, the backlog has been in existence, I believe, since 2016, and is just year after year after year has then compounded, and we are here today. And as some of my colleagues have stated, 2 years ago, I think it's even 3, have been at this point, and we're very direct, all of us were very direct on how we wanted to move forward in hiring and moving that backlog forward or move it along and get rid of it and be able then to put not only our constituents or our constituents safe, but really our first responders and our firefighters to be safe, then to be able then to get water and get it to where it's needed and save many lives. Now we're in the critical state of this backlog, and we now have a plan, so thank you for the plan, but we didn't hire, and I think that's the issue, to be able then to move on this backlog. My understanding, and I think it's great that we have the apprentice program, but knowing the apprentice program will work, or these utility and tech programs, then maybe we need to encourage for more people to get into the program so that then we have them available for this situation. My understanding is that with the 1,000 hydrants that we will work through in the next year of the backlog, it will take a year to do that. And that's unfortunate in itself, and because safety is at risk. What I also heard was that we had 50 applicants. Out of those 50 applicants, how many of them went into those positions?
Mayor and Councilman Pastor, I'm not exactly sure because some of them are probably still in the process. It takes anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks because they need a CDL permit, and that can take anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks for the employee to get that before they can start. But I'm happy to work with our HR professionals to provide some data to you on that and where we stand.
Yeah, I think it would be important to provide it to all the council because we do only have 24, and obviously we need more than 24 to do the work or the backlog. I am wanting to know the 24 that we currently have, how many do we need once the backlog is done to maintain and continue at the level that we need to continue, because that's going to be critical.
Mayor and Councilwoman Pastor, that was part of the analysis that I completed, and I looked at how many repairs and replacements were identified in the past year, and based on the current staffing level, we are able to maintain and keep up with the repairs and replacements expected moving into the future.
Okay. that brings me to, how many hydrants do we have total?
57,000.
So 24 people will be able to maintain 7,000 hydrants?
57,000, yes.
Oh, 57,000. So they'll be able to maintain 20, okay, let me get this math right. 57,000 and 24 people will be able to maintain. However, what I have just heard and what I know is there's 1,000 hydrants that are on backlog, and you're telling me 57,000. We have currently 57,000 hydrants and 24 employees can maintain that. So why can't our city employees be able to do the backlog?
Mayor and Councilwoman Pastor, it's 3 portions. So the portion where we PM the hydrants and we do preventative maintenance on it, that's a 1-person job, and they can accomplish about 1,000 a week or so. I don't have the exact number in front of me. And so as we've seen over the last few years, as we're maintaining them, the backlog in both repairs and replacement is coming down. As far as how many crews it takes to repair, it's a 2-person crew, and they're able to complete and keep up with the current backlog. It's really the replacement. It's a 3-person crew, and they're only able to get about 5 hydrants done a week. Last year, we had about 92 additional hydrants that were identified, and given the staff that's assigned to that, they're able to keep up with that rate.
Okay, I'm interested in your report and your analysis, because if I did it correctly, I think it was 57, that's 2,375 hydrants per employee.
For the
if they're maintaining, checking, and everything else. And so you're saying, and what I'm hearing is that out of those 57, the 1,000 that are not unoperable, then takes an employee longer to fix that hydrant.
Yes, that's correct. The replacement takes quite a bit of time and effort. It's more of a true construction, as opposed to the PM is more of a 10-minute job where replacing can take the whole day.
Okay, so is it possible then to build a replacement crew, since it takes an employee longer, a replacement crew that then we're not in the situation, so that then we have a replacement crew always constantly fixing, other than the 24? Because I'm hearing the 24 are right now just maintaining. They're not fixing, they're maintaining, they're checking.
Mayor and Councilwoman Pastor, let me clarify. The 24 is the whole program. There's about 12 that are actually doing the preventative maintenance, and the other 12 are split between the repairs and the replacement. We have about 2 crews dedicated to the replacement, but they're also the crews that help with our valve replacement because it's similar type of work.
Okay, thank you. I would like to, in the future, have a plan on how we are going to, I want to see a plan on how we are going to maintain. I do believe we need more than 24, or else we will always be in this situation. And 12 and 12 is not cutting it. It's not working. And I appreciate the fact, I really do appreciate the fact, and with fire, that we need to get our hydrants up to standard and move ahead. But in the process of doing that, like I was told 2 or 3 years ago, we were going to solve this problem, but we're not. Now we're at definitely in a crisis or a critical mass of making this happen. And I don't want to put anybody's life at jeopardy. Thank you.
Councilwoman Ansari.
Thank you, Mayor. Most of my questions have already been asked at this point. I'll just add that I'll also be supporting Councilwoman Pastor's amendment to this item. Since I'm still relatively new to the council, I was unaware of the history that Councilwoman Guardado outlined in regard to the fire hydrant issue. So just want to sincerely thank Mario and the AFSCME team for their diligence in reaching out, bringing their concerns and helping to understand the history of how we got here. Agree with my colleagues that moving forward, I hope that this is the last time we're faced with a situation like this where we're having to choose between good paying jobs and public safety. I hope we'll do everything we can to proactively monitor projects to make sure that we keep good paying jobs in house, and also very much look forward to seeing if it will be possible to use some of these hiring or retention incentives for these workers as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions? Roll call.
Ansari.
Yes.
DeCiccio.
Yes.
Guardado.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
Stark.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 9-0.
We next move to item 67, the Police Records Management System Requirements Contract. Here's one that comes to us every few years. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve item 67.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call.
Ansari.
Oh, all right. I can explain.
I'm sorry. What did Councilman DeCiccio say?
Well, sorry, Mayor. I can just do it at the vote. That's fine.
Okay.
Ansari.
Yes.
DeCiccio.
Mayor, I'm going to be voting no. The city, several years back, or I think 2015 or 16, I can't remember. I'm getting a little older, so I'm having a hard time with dates, but we voted for about a $30 million contract for the same thing. After many of us raised a lot of concerns, a lot of questions, staff came back and insisted on moving forward when a lot of us had a lot of questions, and even the line officers that were needing it, using it, had concerns about it as well. Then it turned out within the next year, 2 years, it didn't work. So literally $30 million went down the drain. And I just don't think adding another $8.5 million to something where the taxpayers are now liable for that error, I don't think they should have been liable for that error. Quite frankly, I think the people that made the decision to push this thing forward should have been financially liable themselves rather than sticking this to the taxpayers. So I'm going to be voting no on this. I appreciate the police concern on it, but I'm not going to be responsible for their waste on this. Thank you, Mayor.
Guardado.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Pastor. Stark.
Yes.
Waring.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to explain my vote real quick. Sal makes excellent points. This has been a fiasco from the start. I do think it was under the one of the previous chiefs. And while I agree with everything he said, I also think, we've got something that's not operable that has to be fixed. But when I had my meetings about this with the department, that is an acceptable level of performance, the amount that we paid for that product after being assured that it was supposed to be rock solid. So I'm going to vote yes, but we need to do better. Thank you.
Garcia.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 8-1.
We next move to item 87, which is the final plat at the southwest corner of 19th Avenue and Thomas in Councilwoman Ansari's district. Councilwoman, do you have a motion?
Move to approve item 87.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We do have a member of the public to comment. Mark Rodriguez, the floor is yours.
Hello, Mayor Kate Gallego and everybody at the Phoenix City Council. It's good to hear from you again. How are you all doing today?
We're doing great, Mark.
That was great, Mayor Kate Gallego, because you're the awesome mayor. And I'm wondering that 19th Avenue and Thomas that I go to was the Metro Tech High School that I go to back when I was in 2010 to 2013 when I graduated over there, even though I go to that Encanto Park and to that Chanton Island Amusement Park because I like to do sand art and all that stuff and ride on the train and all that stuff because it's kind of having fun going to the park and also that having great times over there. And of course, it's Christmas and the holidays are here because I want to give you guys a shout out to Yasmin Asari, Carlos Garcia, Betty Wangado, Laura Pastor. I saw you at the McDonald's, and I want to give a shout out to Maria too as well. Deborah Stark, Ann O'Brien, Jim Waring, the CCO. You're not my type, South the CCO. Still not a fan of you, dude. Respect to you, dude, and all that stuff. It's because I respect your team. I respect your everything. And Mayor Kate Gallego, I hope you got your thank you card because I called your office because I hope you got it. And then Jeff Barton, I hope you get your holiday card because I sent it to you on Monday because I'm just being grateful for you so I can met you at the manager since September of 2011. It's because ever since you gave me the city certificate, it's because I like talking to you guys. And I want to see you in 2022. And it's because I love talking to you guys in the city council meeting. And this is the final formal meeting of 2021. And also, I want to say thank you for everything. Thank you for me. And I was talking to you guys in January, back in January 2021. It's because I would love to see you guys again. And then also, that was be for me today. Have a wonderful day. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. And Happy New Year. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you, Mark. Roll call.
Ansari,
Yes.
DeCiccio,
Yes.
Guardado,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Pastor,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Garcia.
Gary?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Gallego.
Yes.
Passes 9-0.
Thank you. That is our final agendized item of today. We next move to resident comments, and I will turn to our city attorney's office to introduce this portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Mayor. During citizen comment, members of the public may address the City Council for up to 3 minutes on issues of interest or concern to them. The Arizona Open Meeting Law permits the City Council to listen to the comments, but prohibits council members from discussing or acting on the matters presented. Thank you.
Thank you. Today, we will begin with Ann Ender, followed by Faith Kearns.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor Gallego. Vice Mayor Garcia and council members, this is Ann Ender. I'm president of Operation Blue Ribbon. Today, I believe I speak for a large part of the 1.7 million citizens in Phoenix that are in support of our Phoenix Police Department. For the past 2 years, our public safety has been jeopardized as some members of this council have targeted Phoenix PD under the guise of transparency. What I've heard publicly has been Chief Williams accepting responsibility for any failures within the department. Furthermore, she's welcomed accountability and transparency coupled with unwavering efforts for improvements. Conversely, Vice Mayor Garcia has used his position on this council to tear down this police department, all the while ignoring the needs of his constituents and the excessive crime in his district. It's disappointing, Mayor, that you've allowed this behavior and degradation to occur. When meetings lacked any decorum, with vile comments being spewed at our officers, it was the efforts of the people to put an end to it. And the result? We, the residents of this city, are fighting for our right, everyone's right, to public safety. As I've stated before, many neighborhood leaders and myself contribute well over 40 hours per week unpaid to support our Phoenix PD and ensure public safety, again, for all citizens in Phoenix. And here we are today, a city coming together to hope and pray for a miracle for a 22-year-old man new to the police department as he fights for his life after a most heinous ambush. Please ask yourself and consider if over the past 2 years, the council collectively sought solutions for hiring sworn personnel, retaining the current force, or even identifying tools for efficiencies, would we be here? And again, ask yourself if we'd be here today praying for that miracle, for the officer, for his family, and the Phoenix Police Department. So if we do nothing else, let us come together to honor Officer Moldovan by providing support of the Phoenix Police Department and ensuring public safety for all. Thank you.
Faith Kearns is next, followed by Frank Urban.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
My name is Faith Kearns. I'm a longtime citizen of Phoenix here. And I am calling because I'd like to discuss the Elizabeth Venable petition for the homeless. And I myself have had the police trash my stuff literally in front of me. And I've heard of others and have seen it been done to other people. I'd like to ask for the police to be a little bit more respectful on how they deal with the homeless in the cleaning phases. Thank you very much. I get my time.
Thank you. And City Manager, I believe you had a letter on this item.
Mayor, that is correct.
Thank you. We next go to Frank Urban, followed by Elizabeth Venable.
Hi, my name is Frank Urban. I'm a fairly long time resident of Phoenix here. I would like to speak on Elizabeth Venable's petition. I myself, like Faith Kearns, have had the police trash my stuff while I was homeless numerous times, and sometimes right in front of me. Other times when I've walked away to talk to a friend or something like that. I think the police should be a lot more respectful to homeless and not give them a time limit on how long they get to move their stuff. Because some of these people are elderly, some have mental disabilities, some have physical disabilities. Okay, that's it.
Thank you. Our final speaker today will be Elizabeth Venable.
Okay, so I'm speaking on behalf of my petition, my citizen petition. I had previously submitted a citizen petition. They said it wasn't actionable, essentially. So I made my petition more actionable. Essentially, I'm asking you to suspend and reconfigure the cleanups around Cass and throughout the city until you are able to not trash the belongings of people living on the streets continually. I have talked to over 100 people to whom this has happened. We have another person in the room to whom this has happened. I'm not going to say your name, whatever. But and we've had other people come and speak to the city council. Alicia and Michael Joseph Garcia both had their possessions thrown away in violation of the Fourth Amendment, and all four of these people have had that have spoken in front of the city council had this happen basically in front of their faces. And this is a continual thing that you're going to need to address, or I keep reemphasizing you're going to face liability if you do not address these issues. So please decide if you are going to reconfigure the cleanups so that they observe the basic Fourth Amendment rights, and don't take these justifications for police about whether everybody abandons and relinquishes their property when it's trashed in front of their faces. And that's all I would say.
Thank you so much. That concludes public comment for today's meeting. We are adjourned.
To support their families. Each year, tax volunteers help more than 3 million people file their taxes, which brings almost $4 billion to taxpayers across the country. Every volunteer tax preparer plays an important role. On average, each tax volunteer helps file about 40 returns, bringing an incredible $45,000 back to the local community.